Sweet dreamers, welcome to a new magical story. Today's story is about Berend the Brown Bear's adventure in the North Pole. In a land of icy cold and dazzling white, where the northern lights danced in the night sky, lived a friendly brown bear named Berend. Berend was different from the other bears. He wasn't afraid of the cold or the snow, and he loved adventures. One cold winter night, while the stars sparkled, and the moon was high in the sky, Berend couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned in his den, filled with thoughts of excitement. He decided it was time for a great adventure. So, he quietly slipped out of his den and began his journey to the North Pole. On the way, Berend met some friendly animals. A white Arctic fox offered him warm wishes for his adventure, while a group of playful seals invited him to play on the ice. Berend smiled and played with the seals for a while before continuing his journey. As he ventured further north, Berend passed by icebergs that glistened like diamonds in the sunlight. He saw majestic walruses resting on the ice and friendly penguins greeting him with their comical waddle. But Berend was determined to reach the North Pole. After a long trek through the snow and across icy plains, he finally reached his destination. Upon arrival, he saw the breathtaking landscape he had only known from stories, a frozen world of magical beauty. As the sun set and the sky filled with the splendid display of the northern lights, Berend found a cozy cave where he could nestle for the night. He felt peaceful and happy, knowing he had reached the North Pole and had embarked on a fantastic adventure. With the dreamy gaze of the northern lights above, Berend closed his eyes and finally fell asleep. He dreamed of all his new friends and the incredible adventures he had experienced on his way to the North Pole. And so, in the quiet night at the North Pole, Berend the brown bear slept, surrounded by the enchanting beauty of the icy wilderness, while he dreamt of the new day full of adventures that would undoubtedly come. Berend the brown bear and the polar bear friend. After a peaceful night in his cozy cave, Berend woke up with the first rays of sun piercing through the ice. He stretched and gazed in wonder at the sparkling ice crystals adorning the cave. It was like stepping into an enchanting fairy tale. Berend knew that his adventure wasn't over yet. He wanted to explore more and make new friends in this frozen world. So, he continued his journey further into the icy land. As he traversed the snowy plains, he heard a soft sob in the distance. Berend followed the sound and found a young polar bear who looked a bit lost. The young polar bear had a sad look in his eyes and shivered from the cold. Berend, always friendly and helpful, walked up to the young polar bear and said, "Hey there, little friend. Why are you crying?" The young polar bear sniffled and replied, "I got lost, and I don't know how to find my way back to my family." "I'm sorry for crying." Berend smiled reassuringly and said, "Don't worry, we'll find a way to get you back to your family. I'm Berend, a brown bear, and I'm on an adventure in the North Pole. You can travel with me until we find your family." The young polar bear gratefully smiled and nodded. Together, they embarked on a new adventure to reunite the young polar bear with his family. They braved frigid gusts of wind and slippery ice floes, with Berend teaching the young polar bear how to navigate this demanding landscape. Along the way, they shared stories and laughed at funny moments. Ultimately, after many adventures, they found the young polar bear's family. There were joyous greetings and warm hugs as the young polar bear was reunited with his happy family. Berend looked on with a smile at the happy polar bear family and felt content. He had not only discovered the North Pole but also made a new friend and helped someone find their family. After a heartfelt farewell, Berend returned to his cozy cave, where he nestled for another night under the enchanting northern lights. As he fell asleep, he thought about all the adventures he had experienced and smiled. And thus, this chapter of Berend's adventures in the frozen wilderness of the North Pole came to an end, a place filled with friendship and wonders. Berend the brown bear and the magical ice cave. The next morning, Berend woke up with an excited feeling in his belly. He had heard about a mysterious place in the North Pole, a magical ice cave deep in the mountains. Berend wanted to explore this enchanting place and have even more adventures. He began his journey to the mountains, with the glistening snow beneath his paws and the eager anticipation of what he would find. Along the way, he encountered animals who warned him about the dangerous mountains and the cold. But Berend was determined. After a long journey, Berend reached the entrance of the magical ice cave. The cave was adorned with brilliant ice crystals that sparkled like diamonds in the light. It was as if he had stepped into a fairy tale world. As Berend ventured deeper into the cave, he heard a soft, melodic singing that seemed to emanate from shimmering icicles. He followed the sound and discovered a group of friendly ice fairies. These ice fairies were small and sparkling, and they greeted Berend with a warm welcome. The ice fairies told Berend that the cave was known for its magical powers. They explained that if he made a wish in the cave, that wish might come true. Berend thought deeply about his wish but immediately knew what he wanted. He wished for peace throughout the world, so that all animals and people could live in harmony with each other. The ice fairies smiled and said that his wish was very noble. Berend returned to his den, filled with joy. He had not only discovered the magical ice cave but also made a wish that could make the world a bit better. He knew that his adventures in the North Pole had taught him about friendship, helpfulness, and cherishing the beauty of nature. And thus, the final chapter of Berend's adventures in the North Pole concluded. As he lay in his den, he thought about the magical places he had discovered and the new friends he had made. Good night, dear children, and dream of adventures, wonders, and spreading kindness, just like Berend the brown bear in the magical ice cave of the North Pole.